Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Monia Gates, I'm the artist behind Color My Dreams. Nice to see you all here again. Hi Rina, hi Pam, hi Janine, or Janine. Hi Mom, welcome. Hi Lizzie, welcome. So today we're going to color the water. We're going to do the air bubbles and I'm going to do the rays, but with all the bright lights, some of the colors are a little bit um, uh, almost like washed out. But as I apply them, you'll see what I'm talking about. Then we're going to see, because the wave is from the one side. Hi Sonia, welcome. Some of the rays penetrates the water and then it affects the color on the bubbles. Then we're also just going to go dark, or I decided to go dark, and I decided on a really bright water because the lady that I drew always loves bright colors. So this is almost like the under layer. After we've done the top layer, we will carry some of the colors through. So we will touch on it today, but this will be your base, and then you can just add more colors. Hi Rain, welcome. Okay, so let's start. So the first color I'm going to use is going to be Light Aqua PC 992. Hi Ria, welcome. Hi Helen, welcome. Hi Karen. So we just do a light layer of the light aqua everywhere. Especially around the hair, because you don't want to lose the details. Can you all see okay, or must I bring it closer? Must I zoom in a bit? Hi Kenny, welcome. And first I'm just going to go around the big bubbles that's drawn. And this is with light pressure. Okay, let's first do this top section, and then I'll move down to the lower section. Okay, so I'm still on the first color. Hi, Katerina. Welcome. Citrina. Katrina. Welcome. Okay, now we have our first layer done. I'm just darkening it slightly. I'm also just applying some color to the split level. Next is Parrot Green, PC 1006. So now I'm adding a little bit of green to the light aqua to get more of a Bahamas island green sea. Bright ocean. I'm holding my pencil further back so that I apply light pressure because I'm heavy-handed. So this helps to make a light layer when coloring. Next is Peacock Blue, PC 1072. Hello Pamela, welcome. Now I'm going to draw or do color in small little lines. So here where I left the highlighted areas, I'm just shading it a bit. But all in lines, because you want that water texture on this layer, because it will be almost like little, because there's movement in the water, you still want to keep the movement, so it's all in little lines. The movement of the water, you still want to keep that. Hi Nana, welcome. Hi Cherie, welcome. Thank you Nana. Now I'm just darkening slightly next to where some of the hairs are, because we would need that little bit of definition a little later when we start fading in some of the bottom layers of hair. Okay, I'm going to, with this color, I'm also going to start with some of the bubbles by adding the dark color. So I'm not going it right to the edge, it's in the middle. Let me see if I can zoom you closer for this top section. I'm going around the outside of some of these bubbles because they're just small ones. So I'm going around the edge and then in the middle on these side ones, on these small ones. And I'm darkening just below this edge. Hi Fairy Girl, welcome. Okay, next is Indigo PC901. So now I'm darkening the one side of this bubble even more with the indigo. Then the outside. And the rim of the other bubble. Now I'm just working on the edge. And here I'm drawing lines in a diagonal down. Because you still want to keep the movement of the water. Because remember, when doing water, it's liquid, it's moving. So you want to keep the movement going at all times. Oh, thank you so much, Nana. Yes, it's a funny color. It's in between charcoal blue and green. It's got a green bluey shine to it. And it's like charcoal black color. Next is Peacock Blue again. So I'm just extending some little bit of color to this one. And extending some of the brighter blue here. Next is Aquamarine, PC905. Now I'm going over the blues that I've added and I'm extending it into the lighter area. I'm also adding it to the bottom to brighten it some more. Oh, thank you, Kat. Welcome. Hi, Sue. Welcome. Now I'm also adding a darker layer here at the bottom, just where it touches the turtle. The reason for doing that is because we want the rays to stand out and also the highlights that we've done on the turtle before. By just flicking, thank you, Kat. So you'll see as you darken it, it will become more visible, all the light sections. Oh, thank you so much, Corin. But there's no need for you to watch the turtle tutorial. Yours were beautiful. I'm also just extending it now to the bottom. And then just go around the hair because you don't want to lose the details of the hair. We will play around a bit with some of the tips of the hair just now. Hi, Laura. Welcome. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so once we've done the darker layer here around the hair, we can carry on with all the other colors. Thank you for popping in, Laura. Really appreciate it. So now the most of the boring parts are finished, so now we can start playing with our colors. Okay, now we go back to the top. Next color is light aqua, PC992. Next is light green, PC920. Now on this side, I'm going to add it to the bottom of this section to brighten it. And here, also at the bottom. Hello, Selena. Welcome. Now I'm going slightly over the light patches and then also here in the middle. No, boring bits. So now I'm just going to add some color to the bubbles. So these ones we colored slightly differently. where I've got a dark shadow from the one side, and this is Indigo Blue PC901. Now I'm going to form like a triangle towards the middle of the bubble, and then I'm going to add darkness to the opposite side. Hold on, let me just zoom in a bit. This one has got more than one point, so I'm going to add darkness to this side, around the shape here, and around the other side with the indigo, and at the bottom of this one. Again, this one triangle will go slightly up here, because remember they're moving and not all of them look the same. This one here, we're going like a triangle part again towards the inside, the outside, next color I'm going to use is Electric Blue, PC1040. Now, on the one side, there's a light section, so I'm going to add some Electric Blue around my white with a very light hand. Then extend my triangle to touch the other side. Then also on this one, on the top side, then on this one, just below this section here, and right at the top. On this one, I'm just going to extend it again. And then in the middle of this one. Thank you, Nana. Next is my light aqua. I'm adding a little bit in the middle for the brightness of the water that's shining through. I'm just covering the outside quickly. Then inside, then below here. So it's just little color touches. Then next is light green, PC902. At the bottom of this one, then I want the brightness of this one here. So this color is in the bottom, except for this one is slightly towards the side. And then again on this bottom. Then the gray-green light, but you need a sharp pencil. Just sharpening quickly. Now with the gray-green light in the middle of this light green that we've just added. In the middle of it, I'm making a small, oops, little spot so that will shine. And on the outside of this one, and here. Then very light hand, and this color I'm going to use, sorry, I'm just taking light aqua to cover around it. I missed a spot. So the next color I'm using is a little bit of pink. Now the reason why I'm using the pink is it will be a complementary color to all the greens that we have here. You know, complementary colors red and green. So it's a light green. So if you use a light pink, they will play with each other. So it's just a touch, so it's not a lot. So on the one side, there where we've added just around your white section, so it's small. It's just a little touch. It's not a lot. There we go. Just like that. Hi Sherry, welcome. And then a little chartreuse. Again, just a very little. Right next to the pink. So not covering your light green, just a little chartreuse. And now we can add it's the pink. It's just, oops, it's just pink. PC 929. And this pink is the pink that will play off to your chartreuse and your light green that you've used in your water. So it will play around as a complementary color, so it will make it stand out more. So next is gray green light, PC 289. So now I'm adding my lightest color. So I'm adding a little dot on this one. And this one at the top. Then just above. And then right around the edge of only the bottom of this one. And this one, we add our light that section. And then the top edge of this one. Oopsie. I'm pressing too hard. Slightly here at the bottom. Yes, we're guessing the pencils. You can all guess how many pencils I'm going to use tonight. And the one that guesses it correctly can give me a suggestion to draw a page. Like, for example, faces or something like that. Okay, so those are your bubble details. But now there's a different one that you can also do. I'm just darkening around them quickly while you're all guessing. Or glass or whatever you feel like suggesting. So say for example you've colored already because you need the background color to do the bubbles in a different way. But that's mostly that I would use on smaller bubbles. So go. You can guess how many pencils. So I'm just quickly doing it. Sorry. And I'm just highlighting this piece of hair so that I don't lose it. The detail where it is. So this is a different way of doing the bubbles. I'm just going to use my grey-green light and white and then just darken it afterwards, just in certain spots. So now we have smaller bubbles. So you start by doing a dot, then draw your shape around it like that. And then your shape around it. So a dot. But the shape is going through it. So if you draw it bigger, it will be a dot. Oops, let me draw it a dot. And then you would draw it through it like that. So this is just an easy way to do those really small ones where you can't really add too much color. Color, but you still want those little bubbles to be seen. It's just a quick and easy way to do it. And then after you've done it with the grey-green light, obviously here you make it smaller little dots to go down and in between if you want. You can decide how many. Then just here and there, let me see. Then here and there you can touch it. So you can go just on the inside and touch it. This color that I'm using here is Aquamarine PC 905. So just on the one side so that some of them jumps forward and some will fall back. And these ones are just at the bottom. So you can see the difference from the one that you add a shadow and the ones that doesn't have anything. And then you can just go with your white. So then you can just go and highlight just the dots and the opposite side with a little bit of white. So wherever you've done your dot, so I'm highlighting there and this side because the light will shine through. So because the light will shine through right here in the middle. And then if you've got shiny bubbles, then that's basically where you would add your highlight. So it's just an easy way to do that little underwater bubbles that is always in the pictures. So without doing too much of color adding and doing lots of details, you can still have bubbles. And here I've just added a couple here at the top, just somewhere with the white. There we go. Let me just zoom out slightly because now we're just going to play with colors in the background itself. So next is Peacock Green. Peacock Green PC 907. So now I'm bringing in some proper greens into the shadows before we darken them. And I'm still just layering. Next is Parrot Green again. Just to add a little bit more of the green before we start moving over to the blues. Next is Aquamarine, PC 905. Oh, sorry, I'm off the page. So we try to keep the translucency of the water with a play of light on the water. So next is the light green again. Oh, sorry. First the light aqua. 992. I'm off the page again. There we go. You are all very quiet tonight. So I'm covering that peacock green that we added. Thank you, Kat. Next is the aquamarine again. Now I'm leaving a little bit of that light aqua here on the hair strand because it will catch light aqua just before you see the hair. Oh, thank you, Lizzie. Next, we're going to use Caribbean Sea, PC 1103. So you want to add all your colors and try and keep it as bright as possible, because you still have a sun that will penetrate, or the sunlight that will penetrate this seawater, so you will get rays in between, but we'll add them right at the end. What I've done in this image, or what I was trying to achieve, is keep this as bright as possible and the bottom very dark, so that it is a deep, but towards the top you can see the light. So a play of the light and the dark, because I want it to come from the depths of the ocean. Next is the light aqua again. Because I want to add enough color here so that it's completely smooth. So we do a lot of layers. It is very similar, except that when the split water tutorial, you've got a light, because it's not very deep. You have the light play in a different way, Sherry. And you can see the bottom on that one, the bottom of the ocean with the reflection on it. Where this one has it in the opposite, because the sun is shining right at the top, and it's very deep at the bottom. So you can look at both tutorials and decide what you would like on your what to do on your image. Oh, thank you, Nana. Okay, now we need to darken it around her on this side. Next is the Aquamarine again. Now I want to darken it here so that you can see the hair strand. Oh, thank you so much, Paula. And welcome. So now what I'm going to do in the bottom, I'm going to show you, I'm going to start shading the tips of her hair into the water, so that it really looks like it's really dark and she's coming from the depths of the ocean. Next is Peacock Blue, PC 1027. And I want to have the page darker for another reason, so that you can actually see the turtle better. So that's why I've decided to do it extremely dark at the bottom. And now this is medium pressure. No, it won't. This is just plain colors. It's just because you cover so much of the page that it takes a bit longer than normal. And also because there's not so many details as yet. We will do the interesting shading on the hair just now, that it feels so much longer. This is where the patience comes in, Nana. Okay, so now before we start adding even more color, now I'm going to play with some of the hair strands just to keep us interested here. So I'm taking light aqua. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the edges of the hair and here. Then, so I'm basically shading some of them into the seawater. We'll carry on with the in-between just now. Let's just extend this one here. Then a little So first just with the light aqua. So all the tips are blue. On these ones, the edges, or the tips. So once we do the hair and the face later on, you'll see that all the hair will fade into the background. Next is the Aquamarine. So now I'm adding Aquamarine. So you'll see that some of the hair strands will look like it's much further back than the foreground hair, but you still want to see them. It's almost like ghostly, more strands in the background. So it just keeps it interesting. A light aqua again, 992. Back to Aquamarine, 905. So now I'm also shading some to go underneath other strands, because that also keeps interest going in the hair tips, because otherwise they will just be tips. Thank you, Nana. Next is the Peacock Green, PC907. So now we're adding some green so that some of the hair strands can stand out more. And you'll see that little bit of green, just give it a little bit more definition. Oh, just going back with my light aqua. And just to shape this one. Back to the Peacock Green, PC907. And you build up the darker layer even more. You're blending the tips into the green. Next is Indentron Blue. Yes, that is why I've decided to keep all the colors dark towards the bottom, because you've got a turtle that has lots of detail. You want a darker background so that it can stand out more. Hello, Lulu. Indanthrone Blue 208. And then we're going to move over, before we lose too much of the details. I'm going to highlight certain section here on his foot, and this is with Pale Sage. Now Pale Sage, I'm going to accentuate this little line that we already have, but just here and there. And then here on his foot, or his flipper, and just around here. There we go. Next is 90% warm grey. So now we're really darkening it, but just with a light hand, because we need it to fall back. I'm adding the grey so that it can fall back more. It dampens the colors. Next is Indigo Blue, PC901. Now I'm going over all the colors. Next is Parrot Green, PC1006. So I'm adding a little bit of the green to some of the tips here of the hair, here at the bottom. So it almost, because I'm going to make a blonde, so it will be because the hair is light, and you'll start seeing there is some color movement. Then Aquamarine, PC905. In the dark waters. I'm just going a little bit slow around the turtle. In the dark depths of the ocean. And then the Peacock Green again. Thank you so much, Sherry. Now I'm just adding that little bit of green. Because you want that little bit of green to all the blue. I know the camera don't pick up all the turquoise and greeny colors, but once you color it, you'll see exactly what I mean. Makes it nice and almost glowy with the greens. Next, the Cobalt Turquoise, PC 105. So you see the edges of the hair, you still get that feeling of it's light hair in dark water. So let's move over to the rays and the stop section. So first of all, I'm gonna do, so I'm still busy with this, but just so that you can see what I'm doing. I will have sun rays shining on it, so I will be adding yellows and orangey colors there. So because I'm adding all that, you don't need to if you're not going to do this background here at your top level. So you can then just go with your plain white. So first of all, I'm going to add a line of powder blue, PC 1087. Again, I'm using my complementary colors. I'm using the powder blue before we start adding the light yellows. So the blues and yellows is complementary colors. So that's why I've decided to use that as my top layer. Oh, thank you, Lulu, for popping in. I really appreciate it. And oranges. The blues and oranges are complementary colors, sorry. But because I'm using like my sunburst yellow and your yellowed orange, it plays with the blue. Thank you, Paula. Next is pale sage, and just above that light powder blue line, I've put a little bit of my pale sage because you want to get that glow going. Then a little Deco Yellow, PC 1011. So the Deco Yellow. My sun will be roughly in, you can decide where your sun will be. So I've put mine roughly here. So with a ray like that and like that, you will pick up white section here and a white section here from the ray on the top. So I put my Deco Yellow on either side and at the top. And next is my Canary Yellow, PC 916. Then Sunburst Yellow, PC 917. And then my yellowed orange, PC 1002. Now, because it's shining right through, you will have some color shining through. So I'm going to use Chartreuse, PC 989. In the middle, here where your rays will shine through, or where the ray will land on it, just a little bit, and then also on this side. Now the same Chartreuse, I will add a little here on the inside of where the ray comes through the water, or the light starts shining through the water. So just a little. You can add everything after you finish this if you need more. So it's just a little bit that would be needed. Now I'm going to add my powder blue to highlight these shapes, but it will form now a cooler. So between the chartreuse and the previous warmer greens, the powder blue forms a, a layer that is a little bit more dampened, but you still get texture. And now I'm going to use my grey green light, PC 289. You make your little lighter sections. Okay, so now I've got my water texture coming from, oh, the top layer of the little, what do you call it, little wave. It's not really a wave yet because it's deep water. Now, from here, where your lighter section is, you're going to draw lines, rays, into the water. So it will shine down at the same angle then your ray will form. So then you draw the lines through. Go wait, let me just zoom in a bit. Just want to take light aqua, drawn the one line a bit squiff. There we go. Then you just fix it. And then I'm going to take light green and just go here and there to get that little bit extra in the rays that you draw down. And a little bit of Deco Yellow just at the top. But if you're not going to use the warm top layer, then you would just do it in white. Now I'm just going to take Caribbean Sea and just blend and darken my bottom here so that you can see the rays better. And then just to accentuate certain parts of, or certain lines, because you've got your effect going already, I just want to take my white, just sharpen it because you need a sharp tip for it. And then you have dark at the top and then just pull the line down. So you have soft lines from the previous colors, and then you have your more prominent light line. Hi Laura, welcome. Thank you so much, Sonia. See, so now you see the effect that you will achieve by covering the tips early. So you get that almost like the back of the hair is still with the blues, and you can see the texture. And this is the light aqua again. I just want to cover some of that blue because I want that turquoise color a little bit shining through a little bit more. So you see the effect that we would try, that I was trying to achieve with this part of the hair. And I'm still with the light aqua. And I'm just softening some of the bottom rays and blending them in. And you can add as many or as little as you want. Back to the white, and I'm just adding a little bit more of the rays. And still the white. So I'm just taking some of the darker color here. Let's take the Peacock Blue. I just want to sharpen it. Oh, thank you, Sonia. So I'm just darkening it slightly and then just adding some darker color to some of the bubbles that have reached the top. So now you've got your ghost there, or your hair that's further back. You've got light shining through your wave and bubbles coming up from the bottom. Let's just move down again and finish the bottom section. Now we can just finish up here at the bottom. I'm taking the Aquamarine PC1006. So now I'm adding a little bit of brightness or green because you've got light at the top and then you would go darker towards the bottom. And now I'm going to add Mediterranean Blue PC1022. So now I'm shading the one half of each section in a little bit darker color. And the tip I'm also shading it in. So you do the one side of the strand and the tip at this stage. Yes, it would, because you your lighter hair will shine more like light strands in the darker water, where your darker hair you would be black strands and then go into lighter hair, where this will be your darker strands going into lighter hair. So instead of using, don't just use pitch black, you would go with your darkest blues and your darkest grays and your dark and then black tip details in the dark water. So you would use similar colors to this, but then that would be dark. Yes, you still need to shade the tips in to the darker hair. Next is 90% warm gray again, PC1058. And then an indigo blue 901, and go over your dark gray that you've just added, that 90%. Then the Parrot Green, PC 1006. And use that as the highlight. Just on the one side of the strand. Yes, it does. Yes, Lizzie, it does give more different because even if you do the color here in front, you still have hair in the back, so it doesn't look like it's just hair in the front. It's like it's all around. Next is Indentron Blue, PC 208. And then it's also a play with color because the darker and more fadey this section is, the more attention would be drawn to the turtle. So now the turtle is standing out as one of the focal points, and then as soon as you do her, then this becomes the focal point of the image, and then you have all the rest like fading out to the sides. So it's a play with your color and your focus points. And this is it for tonight. Mom, how many colors did I use? Let me zoom out. Who's the lucky winner? Awesome. Robin and Ria, please PM me on Facebook or send me an email with a suggestion for a page that I would draw. So you can choose the theme or something that you would like me to draw. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, Mom, for being my mod. Thank you for everyone that came out to watch the stream. I really appreciate it. I hope to see you all next week for the upper half of this page. Oh, thank you, Sonia. So glad you enjoy it. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Lizzie. Thank you, Rain. So Ria and Robin, please PM me or send me an email. Thank you each and every one that came out to watch the stream. I really appreciate it. See you next week. Bye bye everyone.